Here we go. This one. All right. Fabulous. Hello. And welcome to the ceramic wheel. It's very exciting. Over here, you will see all the things you need when you start. And you need this before you start. It's like cooking, where you really want to chop all the stuff before you put it into the pot, or else some of it will burn while you're still chopping other things. And you're like, no! And you lose the cooking show. And you get completely decimated by Gordon Ramsay. All right, so ball of clay. We're gonna grab a ball of clay. When I say ball, I don't really mean a ball. I mean more of like a cone. So when you have your quote unquote ball of clay, you're gonna pound it. First of all, you're gonna make sure it's wedged. This is fresh clay, so it already is. You're gonna pound it into a cone. All right, Brendan, I'm gonna have you pause on your sketches just so that you can come and take a look at the demo, but then 100% you have the rest of the period finished. Just in case you want to do this eventually. All right, so I'm gonna plug this bad boy in. This is the wheel. They use the verb throwing on the wheel, so like you throw a pot, because in the olden days, it wasn't electronic like this. It was like a giant pedal, and you'd have to legit like throw it to get the wheel moving, and that's what started the whole centrifugal force bit. Okay, so the first part of getting this bad boy on here is making it stick. So something you can do first is using your sponge. You're gonna want your hands to be consistently wet. Dry hands are gonna pull the clay off its base. So I'm gonna put a little bit of water here. I'm going to take my clay and slap it down in the middle to the best of my ability. Now, the most important part and the hardest part for any beginner, including myself, who's like an intermediate thrower, is centering the clay. Because if your clay is not centered and you're gonna try to do anything with it, what do you think is gonna happen? It's not perfectly in the center. Exactly. It's gonna veer whatever way it's not centered on. So we can start this bad boy up. In theory, you're on for forward. Let's try reverse. Huh. Try forward again. There we go. All right. So my hands, making sure my hands are wet. This is the position you want to be in. You want to straddle the wheel. You want to put your elbows on your knees because it's going to take a lot more pressure and a lot more force than you think it is. Make sure your hands are wet. I'm going to push this into the base. And you're going to feel it. As soon as it's off-centered, it's going to look super wobbly. It's going to be hard for you to like have it on there. So you're really going to want to push. And if it's really off-centered, whoa. You're going to want to start off at a medium speed. You don't want to make it go too fast because if it's not centered and it's not stuck, it's going to fly off. So I'm going to push this more in the center and try again. So I'm going to start medium fast. Pushing really hard. Oh my gosh, I haven't done this in a year. Let's see. Really bad. All right, let's try again. Not even close. Not even close. All right. If your clay starts to have like fun shapes and you want to tap it back down to your cone, it's going to be helpful. You get to do all the what not to do's first. Very exciting. All right. Once it's centered, you're going to feel it's pretty much going to be a circle on top. You're going to be able to start manipulating the clay up and down. It's kind of centered. We're going to say it's mostly centered. All right, so when it's, in this case, centered, you're going to go for full center. This one's mostly centered. This one can move on to the demo. You're going to flatten it into a pancake. You're going to try to condense all of the clay so that you have all of the ability to come up and start moving. So I'm going to wet my clay a little bit. I'm going to go again to the highest speed. And I'm going to karate chop it down. My hand is getting dry, so I'm going to wet my clay base again. Okay. So now I have kind of like a pancake-ish little setting over here. All right. If I wanted to make something with volume, what do you think is the next step? Something that can hold something else. Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna make a hole. So kind of like the pinch pot. I'm gonna put this on medium medium speed. I'm gonna steady with one hand. You're always gonna want to steady, and then your other hand, I'm gonna use this as something to push. And already I can see how much this is not centered because the hole I'm putting in is like a little bit off this way. So I'm gonna shift it a tiny little bit and see if that helps. Alright, so once I have the hole in there, I'm gonna again use this to steady and I'm gonna start to bring my hand inside the hole and pull outwards. This is going to extend the hole and create that volume inside cup, base, pot, bowl, whatever I want to make. Put a little water inside there too. All right, talking about the speeds real quick. You're gonna start off with the highest speed. You're gonna want that for centering it, because like it's on there, it's stuck, that kind of thing. As you start to actually manipulate the clay, medium. When you start to put the details on, slow. So you start high and you go all the way down. That kind of thing. So medium. So I can start to. So once I have a pretty decent sized hole inside there, I can start using 2 fingers to pull my clay up. So I'm going to start at the base of the hole, and I'm going to pull ever so gently, ever so slowly up the base of the clay. And you don't want to go too fast because you want your the pressure to receive a full revolution. Right? If you start going too fast, part of your clay is going to be thin, part of it's going to be thick. It's not going to be fun. I'm pulling up so I get some volume. So I have a bit of a cup going on in here. My base is extremely thick. You do not want your base to be this thick. You want it to be pretty much standard, an inch. We're going to be pulling it off the wheel eventually, so I'm going to pull it down a little bit more just so that it's not super, super thick. All right, if you pull it too quickly, if you pull it too much, your walls are going to get a little bit thin. And because it's consistently moving, if your walls get too thin, they're going to collapse in on themselves. So you're going to want to have a standard, like pretty decent sized walls over here. As you get more advanced, you can get thinner, you can get more fragile, that kind of thing. But I would say about 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch is pretty substantial. Anything like 3/4 of it, it's too much. It's too thin. All right, so we're gonna work with the rib tool now. You can work with any kind of rib tool you want. This one is a really nice wooden one because it has this kind of lip inside, so that if I put this on medium speed, I can start to get things like an outside rim. I want some fun details like that. You can use a normal rib tool to smooth it. So let's say I wanted to go in, smooth out a section. Or if I want to add some kind of detail on the bottom. Or if I want to just go in and smooth out the interior. So rib tools are great. All different types of tools are great if you want to use like a needle tool or something and have like a little lip as like a decorative element. All right. Fine. So how to get this off? You're gonna take your sponge. You're gonna make a little puddle of water happening over there. You're gonna take your wire tool. You're gonna use your wire tool to push your pot off into the puddle. So it slides off like a slip and slide. And then, deal all that extra clay out, you would wait for it to dry. This one's gonna need some major plastic surgery on the bottom, just because it's very heavy. But it's okay. It's all right. It's not the best. It's actually it's not great. It's not good at all, but it's okay. You're gonna get a lot better. The reason this isn't great is because it's not completely centered. So manipulating it is hard. You can notice that one side is a little bit bigger than the other side. I kind of decimated a little bit. But it is a bowl. It's a functional bowl. If I wanted to, I could eat something out of it. So honestly, success. All right. Gordon, can you pause the video or end the video? I think you have to click end or finish or pause. Stop. Yeah.